What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Chris, and this is Barn on 11970. We got a late night edition video that I want to talk about, and it is 2:53 in the AM Eastern Standard Time on 11/11/2016. And I want to welcome everybody, whether you're watching this live or you are watching it days or weeks later. Let's get into the discussion. As you can see by the title of this video, we're seeing a lot of hypocrisy going on in this world right now. And I have huge problems with, and I'm going to say, extreme leftists. Just like extreme people on the right, there is a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And I have been preaching for the longest time on my channel that if you're going to do these things, you got to do them right, because you're not helping the system, you're not helping your cause. And if you watch how this election process basically took place on the left side, and it's sad that we have to do this because this is more divide and conquer, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to call people out when they're doing the wrong thing. And as you could see by this photo, they're starting to get violent right now. But one of the things in PyroLife9, welcome, hello to yourself, thank you for your comment. One of the things that the left was primarily talking about in their campaign was, like they said, Michelle Obama said it and Hillary Clinton said it, when they go low, we go high. And they're talking about love and peace and harmony and unity, and they were saying that all the people on the right are, or anybody that voted for Trump, does that matter? You don't even have to be all the way on the right, because I don't view myself in any political party. I'm not left, I'm not right, but I'm also at the same time left and right, because my views can change. That's how people should be. And when you have these kind of agendas where you're totally on one side and you have no room to move, this is what happens. You come to an impasse. But you see them talking so much about the fact that if you voted for Trump, that means you're unintelligent, that you are a sexist, that you are a homophobe, all these nasty things. And this was an election, one that many people thought was rigged. Why? Because we proved it with WikiLeaks, and that's why most people who wanted Bernie Sanders never got the opportunity to vote him in as president or give him the opportunity, because WikiLeaks proved that the DNC didn't want him because he wouldn't have fit their agenda. So they screwed that out. So I could see even myself and many others thought this system was rigged. But even with that, I think the reason that Donald Trump became president is because people are tired of what's right now happening. Things that are happening with the media, and how they're trying to turn this into something nasty. And all these celebrities, quote unquote, I have no respect for them anymore. I'm boycotting pretty much every movie now, and I'm not listening to any of these people's songs. Miley Cyrus, and here's the thing, I'm a DJ. I will never play another Miley Cyrus song. I don't care if people request it. Because if somebody's going to be crying about how unfair this is, move to Canada. Which, by the way, if you saw my other video I made yesterday, they're all talking, all these celebrities are talking about the fact of, oh, well, if Trump becomes president, I'll move to Canada. Well, how come none of them said they'll move to Mexico? I wonder why. If they're all about unity and they're not racists, because they love to point that racist card to people, how come none of them said, you know what, if Trump becomes president, I'm moving to Mexico? I wonder what Canada has more of than Mexico has. Do you think the average Canadian is more Spanish or more Caucasian? What do you think? Canada's probably got more of a white type of persona than Mexico does. So how come none of these celebrities are saying we'll move to Mexico, especially if they live in California? Isn't Mexico closer? It's a bunch of hypocrites out there. And one of the biggest things you see, now it's okay to protest if you want to do that. I've had many videos saying all you're doing is you're hurting your side, because now the world that wanted Trump in, because, well, the people in this country wanted Trump in there because they were tired of the same BS. And look what you're giving us. But before things got violent, and you want to march because you're going to complain, that's perfectly fine. You have that right. That's one of the freedoms that we still have left in this country. But you started out by saying your famous quote is, love Trump's hate. Well, look what you're doing out there, hypocrites. You're destroying public property. You're becoming violent. You are screaming out racist comments. You're screaming out on camera, and this is on the news channels, that there are people saying that people need to die. Where's the love? Where's the unity? Does anybody not see this? Do you need like an IQ above the age, above the number of 12 to understand this? How many people out there even know what IQ even stands for? And these people, they go to these liberal arts schools, they learn about stuff that will not help them in the future. They're trained and programmed to become angry. They're trained and programmed to get nothing but supposed free stuff, and they don't understand or understand what the consequences of things are because nothing is free. And by the time they realize they have to pay for it, they're at our age, the older generation that's been where they are. But I don't remember people getting as violent as this for what was an actual election that most people thought Donald Trump didn't have a chance because the system was totally against him. Look how many multi-millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars went to Clinton's campaign. And all the media was on her side. And all these people are saying, oh, Trump is a racist. And if you like Trump, you must be a racist too. And one of the biggest things they say is, oh, well, the KKK endorsed Donald Trump. Now, I think, as a white person, I'm offended by the KKK. I think that's a disgusting group. Any group out there that promotes hatred, I don't like. Black Lives Matter, there's plenty of live videos out there where they're talking about murdering people. I think that is a cowardly thing. That does not promote love. So it doesn't matter if you're KKK, Black Lives Matter, or whatever. If one of the things that comes out of your mouth is we need to kill such and such, then you are part of the problem. You are not a solution, and you are not doing anything but antagonizing people, and violence begets violence. And I can understand why the cops would want to pepper spray these people. That might beat them back. You get what you give. How many times do I have to explain this to people? But obviously, my channel is blocked almost all around the country, all around the world. Most of my videos get blocked because they don't want people that can actually have common sense and rational thought out there for the people to say, wait a minute, maybe what I'm doing is wrong. But you saw the whole time, the left, the extreme left was saying how the people on the right or anybody that voted for Trump was a sexist, was a racist. They were nothing but privileged white people. And they're promoting violence. They're promoting disharmony, separation, segregation. I've never seen this before in my lifetime. I just turned 46 on November 9th. I've never seen this in my lifetime. The people out there, and you can see a lot of them are having a grand old time, having their smiles. They're walking out of school so they don't have to, learn anything, and they're wasting their parents' money because their parents put them through college and probably sacrificed a lot to do it. And they're out there having a grand old time until somebody gets shot. Somebody gets hurt. People get arrested. What point are you trying to prove? There is nothing but hypocrisy here. And this is sending a message to the world of how unstable this country is. And is it any wonder why? The reason that Donald Trump became elected president is because the people were tired of the lies. We're tired of the same old politician that will never answer a straight question, that always cared about the corporations first, that pretended we didn't matter, who called us ordinary and common. The ordinary citizen and the common citizen. There's nothing common about any of us. And we were tired of it. We're tired of the mainstream media always giving lies, insulting our intelligence. We're tired of celebrities, which are basically paid people to lie, telling us how to cast our votes. When the only reason they did it most of the time is because somebody threw a bunch of fiat currency in their face, stuck a camera in there and said, look how important I am. They talk about peace and love. Well, if they really believe so much in peace and love and nonviolence, then I challenge any of these actors to not do a movie that has guns in it, or murder, or violence. You can definitely sell your tickets and promote your movie that shoots hundreds of people, and then you go out and say, oh, I don't believe in gun rights? Well, how about this? Do you know that Hillary Clinton, one of the things that she wanted to pass was abortions that up to the 9th month you're allowed to terminate their life? Because if they weren't born yet, they don't have the right to life. So you don't believe in guns because they can create murder. But you're okay with somebody who wanted to have third trimester abortions. Just imagine if Hillary Clinton was the president 20 years ago. Half these protesters probably wouldn't even exist. So you're okay with a doctor going inside a woman, pulling out a baby at 7, 8, 9 months, ripping it from limb to limb, and throwing it in the garbage like it was trash. And you're going to preach harmony and unity and love with your angry face and your fist in the air while you're jumping on top of police cars and destroying public property. You are the biggest hypocrites, and all you are doing is creating division. You cannot sit down and have a peaceful conversation. You want anger, which makes you, the majority that are doing this, spoiled brats who are whining at what they did not get. Now, let me tell you something. I would have not been happy if Hillary became president. But I wouldn't be out there throwing rocks at my local businesses. I would not be overturning police cars because, you know what? I was brought up with respect. And there are better ways to do this. People somehow need an excuse to become violent, and they use peace as a tool and as an excuse, and it's disgusting. You get what you give, and if you want violence and you want death, I can guarantee you, be careful what you wish for, somebody's going to give it to you. Because somebody is not going to accept you destroying their public property. And you're walking in the middle of highways, stopping cars, throwing rocks, and destroying public property. What do those people in those vehicles, or what do those people in those businesses have anything to do to you? And Jack Rick Zane, if you make another comment like that again, you will be blocked. I do not find that funny. Maybe your fetus should have been sold. I think that's a disgusting comment you made. I hope that makes you feel good and proud about yourself to make the comment that you just made. Congratulations, you're a moron. Don't make a comment like that again, because it will be very short-lived on my program. Because I'll tell you this much, if you want to have a big market for baby fetuses, let's hope your parents, I wish they had a time machine so they can go back for you. And we'll see how funny that is. You're a joke, and you should be embarrassed to make a comment like that. And this is what I'm talking about. You want to make fun of the fact that a doctor gets paid to rip out a baby and rip it from limb to limb? You find that funny? This is what's wrong with this world. And this is why I'm at the point now where if this is our future, then let them blow it up. Let George Soros and all of them exterminate 1/3 of the population, because if this is the way population is, I'm on George Soros' side. Because this is ridiculous. Where's the freedom? The democracy? You know what? As much as I would have hated Hillary Clinton being president, I wouldn't have destroyed my community to prove a point that I was unhappy. But these people, they preached love, they preach unity, they point fingers and judge everybody else, and then they go and destroy public property. Well, Jarek Zane, thank you for clarifying that. If you didn't mean that in a derogatory way. You know, that's the bad thing about typed words. So I am very appreciative that you actually followed up on that. And see how easy it is to communicate? Sometimes people can make mistakes. Like a printed word, sometimes it's hard to figure out what their thought process was behind it. And yes, I was upset by that comment. But the person, instead of saying, oh, you're an idiot or you're a moron, or starting back and forth, he explained the situation. See how easy you can fix things by just communicating? Because sometimes people can have miscommunication or read things wrong. But if you talk like adults, you can fix problems. So, Jarek Zane, thank you for that, for letting me know what you really meant by that statement. And see how easily things can get resolved? So on my end, I'll apologize for what I said. See how easy it is? Problem solved. Now we don't have to go and shoot each other. And G. Don said they're just paid by Soros. That may be true, but that doesn't mean they have to accept the payment, and it doesn't mean they have to do this stuff. They choose to do it. And the problem with this world is we all point fingers at everybody else instead of taking responsibility for what our actions are. I am considered a poor person. I'm definitely not rich. I struggle every day. But you never would see me. I don't care if I could not find my next meal until next week. And somebody approached me and said, you know what, I'll give you $10,000. All you have to do is pretend to start a riot. I mean, like, you could take your money and shove it up your rear end. People have a choice in this world. And all of these people that took a peaceful protest, and you have the right to do that, and are turning it violent and preaching love trumps hate, and you are destroying public property, and you are saying on camera that people need to die, then shut the hell up. You have definitely become a hypocrite, and actions speak louder than words. And the world is watching. This is our next generation. And like I said in my video earlier, well, yesterday, this is our fault, ladies and gentlemen, because we stayed silent. We chose to allow the system to raise our children. And this is what indoctrination does. So if you are mad at what our youth is doing right now, it's our fault because we chose to keep our mouths shut, because we didn't want to rock the boat. We didn't want to get somebody offended at us. We didn't want family to turn away. Well, you know what? You reap what you sow. And I have warned people about this for years. It is only going to get worse if you stay silent. And if you want to fight fire with fire, you're going to get burned. These people that are protesting, quote unquote protesting, because they're really rioting at this point. It's an excuse to loot, steal, and destroy. Because they have nothing better to do and they do nothing but play video games all day. And eventually you become numb to killing people. This is Grand Theft Auto Live. Eventually, somebody is going to be hurt. Somebody may even get killed. And people act tough when a camera's in front of them. But if a gun's in front of them, or they get shot, I guarantee you they're not going to be as tough then. And this is the problem, because eventually they're going to go to the wrong house, or they're going to go to the wrong car, or they're going to go to the wrong cop and do the wrong thing. And somebody's going to say, you know what? Enough is enough. And somebody is going to get hurt, and somebody's going to die needlessly. By their deeds you shall know them. These extremists, whether they are there because they were paid, whether they are there because they really believe they're garbage, you get what you give. And I hope there is somebody right now that is in one of these, or planning to be in one of these quote-unquote protests. Think twice, because you're going to destroy your future. The path you are choosing. Now I can understand why the elites want 1/3 of the planet gone. Because these people that are protesting, quote unquote, are a waste of space. And I hate to say that, because I believe in unity. But you know what? Some people will not ever change. Some people are just too far gone. But here's the beautiful thing. The parents of these children should be ashamed. They should turn around and change their viewpoints and educate them. This is what happens when both men and women had to go to work. They didn't raise their children. So children learn their values from their friends, their schools, and their television. If we don't start taking responsibility and fix this now, then you know what? The people like George Soros and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all of them that want to basically destroy 1/3 of the country and 1/3 of the planet, I'll be on their side. Because these people That's a waste of food, a waste of air, a waste of water. If they're going to preach harmony and they're going to preach love by hurting other people and destroying public property, then this is a world that some people should not be in anymore. And I hate to say that. What happened to thoughts and reason and logic? But people are basing this on emotion. How many people that actually, you know what? I would rather somebody not vote than somebody to vote just because, oh, I didn't like a person or I like that person. How about what they stand for? All of what they stand for. And that's why not only did I hate Hillary Clinton, but there were plenty of things that Donald Trump said that I did not agree with. And if you voted just because of the lesser of two evils, then you got the lesser of two evils, which is evil. If you had the choice of being beaten to death and beaten half to death, I'm sure most of you will say, well, I'll get beaten half to death, because is that better? It sure is. Are you going to be excited, looking forward to getting beaten half to death? I sincerely doubt it. This is embarrassing. So have your fun, protesters, and I say that loosely. Show the world that you say one thing and do another, and then get people to sympathize for you when you're pepper sprayed, when you're arrested, when new laws come to take away more of your freedoms, and somebody dies. Pat yourself on the back for your achievement. And the real traitors who get paid to participate or promote violence, you are the lowest form of scum. You are the biggest traitors, and you should be the reason why states should bring back the death penalty. Because if you're going to promote something that could potentially kill somebody, then your rights as a right to live should be just like what they want to do with all of these abortions. It's disgusting. I challenge anybody on the extreme left to watch a video on abortions and watch what they do to that baby, where they literally take a living human being, just because it can't talk yet. It has a heartbeat. It has a brain. It has a circulatory system. It has arms and legs. It is a living being. And you are extracting it out of a mother, and you are literally ripping it apart alive and throwing it away in the trash. So you want to say that's okay because, oh, right to life, right? I challenge you to watch one of those abortion videos. See if you could sit through it and your mind doesn't change then. The hypocrites in this world, the Black Lives Matter, are a bunch of hypocrites because you know why? All lives matter. The people that are talking about gay rights and all these other things, what about everybody's rights? Do you think you're going to get more freedoms and more rights by hurting other people, by attacking other people? You want to talk about freedom and you're not allowing people to have freedom of their own expression? There are people on my Facebook page, but because of me wanting Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton, unfriended me or stopped talking to me. Because of my right to have a point of view. Is this the America we want? Is this the future we want? 1984, that movie, is soon and very quickly becoming a documentary. The people, it's like the movie The Matrix. The people that come here for the right reasons are the ones that are awoken, that are unplugged. And yes, it's harder life. But the majority of people are still in the Matrix, and they're making fun of or don't even realize the people that are there trying to save them. If this is the future of America, it should be destroyed. If this is the way we promote unity and love, then I don't want a part of it. And Martin M., you're a fool if you say that. If you're going to write things like chump. You know what, Martin? Let me ask you: Are you a Hillary fan, Martin? For you say I'm surprised Trump became president. So we're going to call you out a little bit, Martin, because maybe you wrote it wrong because you might be on your cell phone. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Are you a Hillary or a Trump supporter? Because either one is not really going to help you. It's not going to. He's not. They're not going to help us. They help the rich. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope Trump is the first person that actually means what he says. I hope to God, because if he can't do it, knowing that he's not bought and paid for, knowing that he got in because the people wanted change, and he still can't do it, there is no hope in this country. So, Martin, are you more of a Trump person or a Hillary person, or maybe somebody else? Let's hear what you have to say. Because now, if somebody's going to make comments like that, I want to first make sure they wrote it correctly and give them the opportunity. Okay, I guess they're not going to answer. So my point is, if this is the world that we're coming into, you could not sit there and preach that you want unity and all lives matter, or some lives matter. It's all or nothing. And like I said, this is not the left that's the problem. It's the extremists. And here's a big question. G. Don says, do you think Trump will pardon Hillary if it comes down to it? You want to know something? I really think he will. And I think that is a sad thing. And even the media, even people on Fox News, which I gave a little bit more respect for during this election, they were saying, well, you know what? Let's just leave it alone. No. Are you saying that if you do a criminal thing and you do a crime, you should not pay for it? Well, what about the average person out there if they committed these crimes? You think they'd let them go really quick? You know, cops will pull you over if you have a dirty license plate. You give them a hard time, they can get to the point where they'll arrest you. I've seen it on many videos. If Trump pardons Hillary, then that is pretty much a proof that he's full of crap. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we have we can get rid of a president, and I'm not talking by executing a murder or kidnapping or anything violent. I'm talking about doing the due process. You can get rid of a president. It's just, I'm watching these videos of the thousands of these, mostly younger people, who are marching with the audacity to say, love Trump's hate. And they are talking about murdering people. They are destroying public property. They are being destructive, abusive, nasty, insensitive hypocrites. And I say extreme left because I'm sure there have to be people on the left that cannot be proud at what they're seeing on a version of their side. Where is President Obama with this? Isn't he still president until the end of this year and the beginning of January? Where is he right now? Mr. Unity, his legacy. What legacy does he have? Obamacare? The affordable health plan? You know how many days I've had Obamacare since it opened? 0. You volunteer your servitude with all of this. But this is not the way to go about it. This should be proof of all the things that I've told people that follow me for years, that violence does not solve the answer. Yeah, and probably Obama probably is playing golf. He does plenty of games of golf. Of all the things he's done as president, he is so good at golf. If only golf could solve the world problems, he would be grandmaster. And of course he doesn't care. Actions speak louder than words. What has he done? What is he doing now? Do you know they have a term for the president at this point after a new president has been elected? They call him the lame duck president. So you're saying once the vote comes in, even though the person's still president, he doesn't have to do his job anymore? That's bullshit. And we allow this? Let me tell you something I'm going to be doing. And I know that petitions don't matter, but it's to prove a point. The day that Donald Trump gets into office, I will be starting a petition on getting rid of the Federal Reserve. It needs, in 30 days, 100,000 signatures. Will it get it? I don't know. Will anything happen from it? I don't know. But it's to make a point, to get people to be educated that that's the real problem. It's our fault that we allowed our children to do this. How many of their parents are going to chastise them for what they're doing, or at least speak to them? But you can't discipline your kids anymore. Now, I'm not saying to abuse anybody, because like I said, you got to do things the right way. But I was brought up with the fact of being explained when things were wrong. My mother didn't try and become my best friend when I was a child. She was my parent. Same with my father until he moved away when my parents got divorced. I grew up with just a mother. But I turned out okay, I would like to think. I mean, I'm not in jail. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I spend most of my days for the past 5 years trying to educate people and try and create harmony and unity. And Domo says it perfect. Yes, abolish the Fed and all central banks. That is the problem. That is one of the problems. But it is a major one. So when the day that he swears himself in, if that's still the opportunity, I will be making a petition to have our president, Trump, get rid of the Fed. Will it happen? Who knows? But I'm not going to say, oh, well, it's probably not going to happen, or he's probably not going to listen, and I'll just say, oh, I won't do it. No, I'm going to do my part. You need to do your part, people, because look at the videos of these peaceful protesters that are extreme leftists, that are saying, even though the system was rigged for Hillary Clinton, even though she was given the edge, even though she had the media on her side, the president on her side, all the bankers and corporations, she had the prince from Saudi Arabia and all these other countries donating, quote unquote, millions of dollars to her campaign, and she still lost, you're going to be crying in the streets about it. Instead of realizing that the system actually worked. For once. Whether it was planned that way or not, I don't know. It's just disgusting. We as a human species should be ashamed at what these people not only are doing, but what are allowed to do. And the media is promoting it. So people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton are allowed to go on news and say this is okay. The ignorance of the people is astonishing. I, as a white male, am not going to apologize for what my ancestors may or may not have done. I love everybody unconditionally because of who they are, if they are a good person. If you are an evil person, I'm not going to love an evil person. If somebody tried to come into my house and hurt me or my family or my property, I don't have to love them. I will defend myself, and I know many people would defend themselves, but there's a big difference between hurting somebody because you protected yourself and defended yourself, and hurting somebody because you think it's fun and you want to go out and be the aggressor. I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to take somebody dying. It's going to take one of these protesters going to the wrong house thinking, oh, well, there's power in numbers, and somebody pulls out a gun and says, not my house, not my family, not my property, and opens fires and defends himself. And what will the media do? Oh, look, see, we need to regulate guns because look what happened. Never mind the fact that there were hundreds of people going on somebody's property and the person was defending their right to survive and they were maybe fearful for their life, but, it might have been a different skin color that got shot, so they'll blame it on the gun and blame it on the skin color instead of what the truth is. And there are still plenty of people that watch the news and believe they're garbage. How can we, the few people here, and there are 37 people watching right now, It's embarrassing. 30,000 subscribers. Well, about 100 away from 30,000, and 37 are watching. 37 people care. And the funny part, as soon as I say that, one or two get off and sign off. Wow, no one did. It's a Christmas miracle. So, the majority of people are tired, but they're not willing to sacrifice and do what it takes. Because it takes effort. It takes work. And that's why I've been prepared for years. I'm waiting for the inevitable to happen. And you know what? I'm going to sit back and laugh. I'm going to enjoy the ride. Watching 90% of the people suffer. Not because I want to see them suffer. It's because they didn't care enough to protect themselves and do things the right way. And Neath Q said, "I'm not subscribed." Well, I hope you become subscribed. You're more than welcome to if you want to, but if you just want to listen to this rant because, you know, it's the only thing on, or you want to see if this person will go crazy or something, whatever. It's cool. The people, the masses, don't be a follower. These people are followers. They're doing what other people are doing. And if this is your idea of showing unity, love, and, you know, bringing people closer together, I'm embarrassed for this world. So I'm not going to keep this video too long because right now it's 3:30 in the morning my time. This video's been on for almost 40 minutes, and I know how the majority of people hate long videos because some people in this world have a 2-minute attention span and they need to have flashing lights to be entertained. Well, these people in those protests where we're jumping on these cars, they're going to see some flashing lights. And some people will see a bright light that they're about to walk into. You don't fight fire with fire. You don't get peace through power and warfare. This is an old system that must die. If there's a person on life support, you just let them die. You don't murder them. So we cannot kill the system. We have to let it die. Every time you use your credit cards, every time you put your money in a bank account, every time you work for the corporation systems because it's convenient or you say it's the only thing you have, you are keeping it alive. And you can get angry at me for that. And that's fine. But until people are willing to sacrifice and do what it takes to stop feeding the corrupt beast, that beast is going to stay alive and continually consume. And it'll throw some people a few scraps, and we're thankful for it. It's embarrassing. So to all of you people out there who care enough to be here and leave comments, that support my channel, who share my information, who actually try and do their part, I'm very proud of you. To those who come here because they think this is a joke, or they come here to troll, or they come here to make ridiculous comments because it makes them feel better that they said something stupid, you eventually one day will have the problems hit you and your family. Because you will always get what you give. So do the right thing, because it's better to be that way. You know, I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I do believe in the peace and the harmony and the love and letting bygones be bygones, allowing people, as long as they're not infringing on me, to do what they want. I have a white neighbor to the left of my house. I have black neighbors to the right of me. I have no problems with either one. And I don't care about the color of their skin. It's amazing. So I hope the protesters, quote unquote, are proud of what they're doing. They're setting the worst example, and shame on the media for promoting it. The media is a dinosaur that needs to be extinct. I will spend 0 days watching CNN. I will be watching 0 hours of MSNBC. I will watch 0 hours of CBS and ABC. All of these, and even Fox, I will barely even bother to watch videos on YouTube. Because they're just as bad, but not as bad. And Six Magic Man says, who's in charge of these marches? It's a very good question. One we'll probably never find the answer to. Anyway, I'm going to go to sleep. I wish everybody a great night, and I hope you will do the best that you can to teach your family the right way to do things. Otherwise, we're going to get more of this, and eventually it will hit your town. Thanks for watching. Have a great night, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered. And your extreme leftists. Bunch of hypocrites.